Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful guest in studio today. It's Jen McDonnell, and she is a senior loan specialist with Avenue Mortgage, a division of the CIBM Bank. Jen, tell me a little bit about your experience in the mortgage industry.
Well, I've been in the industry this is my 19th year, so almost 20 years, and it's been just such a wonderful experience. I've worked in a lot of different facets in the industry. I've seen a little bit of everything, the good, the bad. So I started in '98, and it's been quite the wild ride, especially with the crash. But I'm happy to report it's been an awesome spring market and just a great summer market, and we're seeing that continue through this year.
Tell me a little bit about the relationship between Avenue Mortgage and CIBM Bank. How does that work?
So we are a division of a bank, which I like to say we're the best of both worlds. So we have the portfolio loan products at the bank, and we also have just traditional financing through the different lenders that we work with. So we are considered a mortgage banker, which everyone has a different program that fits their needs. No two programs are alike. No two rates are really alike. Your neighbor next door is going to be possibly looking for something different than you. So it's my job to really tailor what looks best for your situation, and I can either go with a bank product or I could go with some traditional mortgage financing.
That's great. That gives you and the home buyer some flexibility.
Oh, flexibility, and like I said, the best of both worlds. I'm not locked into just one program.
That's great. Tell me a little bit about when we should start thinking about contacting you. We often think, let's go to the realtor first, but really we might want to visit you first.
As early as possible. I like to stress that. And a lot of that is for the realtor too. So if they need to know what you're pre-approved for, what they should be showing you, and it can really help them zone in on finding you the best home. But if you don't know that, they for sure don't know that. So, and the realtors who I work with will say, no, talk to her first. It's a really, really important part of the process.
For that first-time buyer, it's a wonderful experience because they're doing something for the first time, something that's very permanent, that's very Americana. But it is a scary time, and it helps us to know, especially if we're in a rental situation, what we need to do to get ready for it. Because sometimes we might want that home that's maybe a little higher, and so what can we do to improve our chances for a bigger or better loan?
And that's getting pre-approved.
Right.
So that is me reviewing all of your documents, looking at everything, looking at your credit report, which is such a big, vital piece to all of this. It's how rates are priced, how much down payment. There's so many different loan programs, and there's so much to know before you take that big step, because it is such a huge step, and it's an exciting step, but it needs to be treated that way too.
And that's where I think a broker like yourself is so important. There's lots of technology is huge right now, and has helped the real estate industry in many ways. It's nice to be able to cruise around and look at different homes and neighborhoods. But when it comes to going to get that loan, there's lots to be said for that face-to-face versus the online. Talk to me a little bit about what your thoughts on.
I will agree with you. Technology is awesome, and the things that we can do to communicate now and really get information back and forth, it's great. But I will always be a big believer in just to have someone by your side, someone you trust. Come into my office. Let's sit down. Let's have a chat. I have a great online or an app for your phone where you can calculate payments, and I can customize it to my clients. So that's a great tool. Being able to do certain things online, it's a great tool, but it's also a tool, and it needs to be treated as that. So I think I have a nice mix as far as I use technology. I give people tools to make the process easier and easy to understand, but it's the personal touch of, Jen, what does this mean? What, can you explain this to me? Can you sit down with us? Let's sit down and actually do the application. There's a lot of forms, and it makes sense to
have somebody. It is
for sure.
It is hard to, when you're reading those forms and they're asking you questions, I wouldn't, I wouldn't know what to do if it was just all online. I had all my paperwork spread. Of course
not.
I wouldn't know what to do.
It's confusing. It's you need someone who looks at mortgages and looks at loans every day to make it simple.
Right.
And when you're doing everything online, and we offer e-signing, I mean, for a convenience factor,
Sure.
but for a first-time home buyer, I love to sit down with people. One of the best parts of my job is the education piece of really tailoring something to them and making sure they understand it. Because like we talked about, it's a big leap. And it's an exciting leap. And
it's the largest purchase we'll probably ever make.
Yes, absolutely. And it needs to be treated as such.
Right. Well, and when you talked about the credit report that you pull in, all that's very intimate. You get to know us in ways that nobody else knows us.
Right.
And so that's why it's nice to have a trusted face across there. I mean,
and people think I'm, they're so scared sometimes to call. And I hope people realize I'm not that scary.
Right. Well, I think it's more of, it's scary, and we just, we don't want to be judged, and we're worried that oh my God, my credit score isn't going to be good. And just like we flash back to high school, we're like, oh my gosh, I just flunked my test. Yeah. Right. But there's ways
I have seen it all, and there's that's a great point to bring up, because that happens a lot where there are things on someone's credit report that either maybe they don't know of,
right,
or they do know, and they need help fixing it.
Right.
So that's where I come in and say, and that's why I said earlier is better.
Right.
Because if you are looking, your lease is up. Let's talk about a first-time home buyer. Yeah. Your lease is up, and you have to be out in a month or 2 months. And there's things we need to do on your credit report to get you ready to finance, or you need to save a little bit more money.
Right, for that down payment.
It's great to talk to someone 6 months out, even a year out. Let's come up with a plan. Let's figure out how this is going to work and what it's going to look like,
right? Because most
people, get you there.
Most people don't pull their credit report unless they're going to buy something big. And so sometimes they've got that open credit card, or that credit card they had 10 years ago they don't realize is weighing down on them.
Or a medical collection that you thought insurance covered.
Right.
That happens all the time.
Right. And those things, it can be fixed, which I think is the exciting thing for because you know how to do that. You're like, you can look at that. As you said, you've seen just about everything.
I have seen everything.
So there's no need to be embarrassed about.
No. And there's a lot of people who went through some absolutely horrible things during the crash, and now they're ready to buy again, and everything is, their job is great, and things like that. So no, don't ever be embarrassed about something. Let somebody help you get back to those stages. And
what's the best part of the job?
The joy. It is so fun. I am the luckiest girl in the world. So just having being a part of all of this, and the exciting, what are we going to do with the kitchen, and what color are we going to paint the kids' rooms? And for a first-time home buyer, it's great to just watch them. I remember when I bought my first home, and I will never forget when my husband and I bought our first home. Never. And then we bought a different home, a move-up home. So it's fun to go through all of these stages with people, and
you're really helping them make their dreams come true. That's what you are.
Thank you. It's the best job.
Jen, thanks for stopping by and telling us a little bit about being a mortgage broker and what you do, and encouraging us to call early.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been so fun.
Been so great. We'll be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.